Okay, so with the new 2.1 release of the Quad Cortex OS, one of the new amps it added was the Victory Kraken. And although I'm a big fan of Rabia's tones, I wasn't expecting to really like this amp as much as I am. For anyone who's been downloading any of my presets, you're probably aware by now that I'm not really a high gain kind of player. And so when I think about the Kraken, that's kind of where I go. And so I wasn't expecting the Kraken to sound as good as it did, especially I'm focusing here on the channel 1 model. The channel 2 model is very high gain, and I've used it a little bit, played around with it, but for the most part, I'm focusing on the channel 1. And I was liking it enough that I wanted to see if I could get kind of the range of tones that I want out of that one amp. And so to give you a sense of what I'm going for here, what I typically do on what I consider kind of my main preset is I kind of have 4 columns of tones. I've got kind of clean tones, low gain, bluesy kind of stuff, kind of rhythm, rock kind of rhythms, tones, and then lead tones. And then typically what I'm doing is the bottom row is kind of the bass sounds, and then the top row is boosted. So for example, with the clean tone, I've got the bass tone here, and then I boost it with a compressor. Same thing with low gain, I'm kind of boosting it, rhythm, and then lead, I might have like an Eric Johnson-y kind of lead here, and then I might boost it into more aggressive, maybe getting towards a Satriani-ish kind of thing. And so that's kind of what I'm going for. And I wanted to see, can I get all of these sounds that I want with the Kraken? And so if we run through the preset here, up front, I've got a dual compressor. And so this is for my boosted clean tone, and I put this in front of my lead tones. I've got an Exotic Z Boost, which is the RC booster. I'm using this as the boost on my kind of low gain sound and on my rhythm sound. I am using this capture that I created of my Archer icon, and there's a set of these captures available in my Cortex cloud account. You can grab them if you want. I haven't personally been able to replace this yet with anything that's built into the Quad Cortex in terms of being the stacked overdrive in front of my lead tones. And so I continue to use this in a lot of my presets. We've got our Kraken channel 1. I'm putting the delays between the amp and the cabinets because they seem to fit best there. And so I've got a tape delay for my kind of crunch tones, and I'm using an analog delay for my clean tones. For the clean tones, I'm using a Hiwatt 4x12, and for the crunch tones, I'm using the Mesa V30, which is I typically use. I do have a compressor after the cabs to try to give more of that sag to the amp, so just a little bit of compression to control the volume a little bit and give a little more flexibility with the volume tone to control the gain. I've got a chorus here that I'm using just in the clean tone, and then I've got a plate blush reverb on the end, some ambience. So let's go through the tones. So what we'll do is we'll leave up the Kraken amp, and you can see here I've got all the settings turned on for the scenes because they're all going to move around as we go from scene to scene. So let's start with the clean tone. You can see here I got the gain really low. I'm pushing the mids and a little bit of treble and the master. Obviously the Kraken, there is a lot of gain on tap even on channel 1, and so you got to keep the gain pretty low. I will say that does make this clean tone, I think, a little anemic compared to some other amps. So it's not quite as full, but I still think it sounds good. So a nice sparkly clean tone. And then if you hit it with the compressor, it just kind of fills it in a little bit. So a really nice job of doing those cleans, even though this amp wants to overdrive. If I just go back to the bass clean, if I hit it with a bridge pickup, you'll hear a little bit of grit. I mean, there's some grit there. But if I hit it with a neck pickup that's a single coil, it stays pretty clean. So for the low gain tone, I'm getting up to about a 3 and just kind of a nice, punchy, bluesy tone. If I boost it with the RC booster, it really thickens it up. So I like that quite a bit. I'm really impressed with the Kraken's ability to kind of do this kind of low gain, bluesy kind of sound with a lot of clarity and bite to it. For the rhythm sound, I'm pushing the gain to about 4, and it's a nice full rhythm tone, but it's still got a good amount of clarity. Even if you use a neck pickup. So a nice kind of chunky rhythm there. And then if you kick it with the RC, and I'm pushing the gain up to 4.5, and I'm switching to the EL34. So giving it a little bit more of a Marshall-y kind of thing. So it works as a nice kind of thicker rhythm tone. And then for the lead, we've got our compressor, we've got our Archer icon. For this lead, the gain's back to being pretty low, and I'm back on 6L6. A lot of the gain's coming from the Archer, but it's a nice kind of smooth. And then if we switch it to the boosted gain, you can see I'm pushing the gain quite a bit more. I still have our compressor and our Archer icon. Notice we also switched that to an EL34 and we turned the focus off. So just trying to get a little bit more of a tight, punchy, almost a Marshall-y kind of tone there. I'm really impressed with how versatile this Kraken Channel 1 amp is. I think you can do a lot with it. It's a great kind of bass amp to do a lot of different kind of tones. I'm pretty happy with it. I think this preset kind of might be my main preset for a while, at least I find something new to play with. So I'll make this preset available on my Cortex Cloud account. Feel free to grab it, play around with it. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I hope you like it and you found this video helpful. Thanks.